You know, when you have an emergency and you dial 911, you just expect this whole sophisticated system to kick into gear, right? Trained professionals, advanced medical gear, super fast transport. But what if I told you that this incredible life-saving network is actually surprisingly new? That for most of modern history, your best hope in a serious accident might have been, well, the local undertaker? Today, we're going to dig into how one doctor's simple but incredibly powerful idea, the golden hour, completely revolutionized emergency medicine, turning it from a total gamble into a science.
To really get how far we've come, you have to see just how grim things used to be. I mean, this quote really paints a picture, doesn't it? Before modern medicine, hospitals weren't seen as places of healing. They were the last resort. And emergency transport? Forget about it. It was pretty much non-existent for civilians. If you were in an accident, you were basically on your own. There just wasn't a system.
So the difference between then and now is just staggering. Seriously, before the 1960s, your ambulance might have literally been a hearse. Think about it. Funeral homes were some of the only businesses with vehicles that could carry a person lying down, and they were open 24/7. The folks driving were often undertakers, and their only medical training was maybe a basic first aid course. It was just chaos. Today, we have what are essentially mobile intensive care units, staffed by highly skilled EMS professionals. The difference is, quite literally, life and death.
Yeah, let's just sit with that for a second. The undertaker's ambulance. This was a time when providing ambulance service was just a side gig for funeral homes. There were no statewide rules, no advanced equipment. It was often just a driver in a hearse, pretty much just hoping for the best.
Obviously, this dangerous reality couldn't last forever. By the middle of the 20th century, more Americans were dying in car crashes than in the entire Korean War. Just let that sink in. Yet the emergency response system was basically stuck in the 19th century. The country was facing this hidden epidemic, a massive public health crisis that was just being ignored. Something had to give. And that change came from a single explosive report. So, the real catalyst for change finally arrived in 1966. The National Academy of Sciences released this landmark study, and it was an absolute bombshell. They called it the White Paper, and it just laid bare all the deadly failures of America's emergency response system. It showed exactly how a total lack of standard medical training, combined with poorly designed cars and highways, was costing thousands and thousands of lives. This report was the national wake-up call that finally set the stage for a revolution. And right into this moment of crisis stepped our main character, Dr. Adams Cowley. Now, as a military surgeon, he'd seen the devastating effects of trauma up close and personal. He became convinced that the real killer in civilian care wasn't always the injury itself, but the absolute chaos and the delay in getting treatment. He was determined to find a better way. So, he focused his work on one crucial question. When it comes to surviving a really severe injury, what is the most important factor? Is it the skill of the surgeon? The quality of the hospital? Well, Dr. Cowley's research pointed to a different, much more urgent answer: time. He realized that survival depended, more than anything else, on what happened in those first few moments right after the injury.
And that realization led him to this beautifully simple and powerful concept, the golden hour. Cowley's idea was that a severely injured patient has about 60 minutes from the moment of injury to get definitive surgical care. If you get them that care inside that hour, their chances of survival are incredibly high. But outside of that hour, their chances drop off a cliff. This wasn't just some catchy phrase. It was a completely new way of thinking that shifted the focus from just getting to any hospital to getting the right care right now.
But, a brilliant concept alone doesn't save lives. Dr. Cowley knew he had to actually build a system from the ground up, one that was designed to beat the clock. And so in Maryland, that is exactly what he did. He created the nation's very first integrated statewide trauma system, a meticulously designed machine built for one single purpose: to honor the golden hour. And here's the blueprint he built. First, a central communications hub to coordinate absolutely everything. No more calling the local funeral home, okay? Second, statewide protocols. This made sure every single EMS provider delivered the same high standard of care. Third, and this was a total game changer, he brought in state police helicopters for medical transport, which just drastically cut down travel times. And finally, designated trauma centers, like the famous one that now bears his name, to make sure patients went directly to a hospital that was actually equipped to save them. Every single piece was designed to shave precious minutes off the clock. And let's be clear, this wasn't some achievement by committee. This system was forged by Cowley's sheer force of will. He fought tooth and nail for funding, he challenged the status quo, and he just relentlessly pushed his vision forward until it became a reality. He didn't just have an idea, he built an entire world around it.
The impact of Cowley's work didn't just stop at the Maryland state line. The principles he pioneered became the global gold standard for trauma care. The idea of an organized, rapid response system, which was once so revolutionary, is now the foundation of emergency medicine all over the world, saving countless lives every single day.
Just look at how Cowley's ideas spread. This one worldwide program for pre-hospital trauma education has now trained over 1 million providers in 64 countries. In its core principles, fast hemorrhage control, expert EMS response, and rapid transport to a trauma center. It is basically the Maryland model just scaled for the entire planet. That is his legacy.
So the big question is, does the golden hour idea still hold up today? Well, while some researchers might debate the exact 60-minute time frame for certain injuries, the core principle is stronger than ever. Modern studies consistently confirm it. Less time to care is directly linked to higher survival rates for major trauma patients. The clock is still ticking, and Dr. Cowley was absolutely right.
So the next time you see an ambulance or a medevac helicopter, remember it's not just a vehicle. It's the physical embodiment of an idea, Dr. Cowley's golden hour, a revolutionary concept that created the very system we all rely on today. His incredible work defined the first 50 years of modern trauma care. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What new innovations in technology or data or medicine will define the next 50 years and save the next generation?